Okay, hi everyone. I'm making a sign for a booth that I'm going to set up at an arts festival. So this is DizzyfishArt. I put this logo on here using stencils that I got at Michael's. I'll put the link down below. And then I blew out some flowers and put some little dots in the center, and I made a fish stencil. I made a stencil out of just black sticky vinyl that I got at the Dollar Tree. I drew out a little fish shape, cut it out, laid it on here, and then I poured paint over it and blew it out with a straw. And today what I'm going to do, I also made a spiral stencil that I cut out, but that was so difficult to cut out. So what I tried to do was, this is a silicone mat. So I just took paint from my paint bottle and poured it out on the mat, just directly onto the mat in a spiral. And I ended up making these spiral. They're really difficult to work with, but these spirals, because a spiral is part of my brand logo, that I'm going to try to attach on here. So these are paint skins. I have a violet one, a turquoise one. They're so delicate and ribbony. But I was going to show you guys how I attach these to the canvas using a pouring medium. Very carefully, especially this turquoise one because it doesn't want to behave. So that'll be flipped over on the other side. And I also did a fish skin, but it tore a little bit. I was going to do one to go the opposite direction of this fish. It's really delicate, really thin paint skin. It tore a little bit right here, so I think I might still use it and just paint this in by hand. But this kind of skin, what you can do with these is you can lay them on the edge of your canvas and just lay the corner or the edge of your skin over the side and it'll stay right there. So that one may end up being there because I kind of like the way that looks. Part of a fish. But when you pour out your paint skin, you just pour it out onto silicone or a piece of glass or something that you can pull it up off of easily after it dries. And then I trim it with baby scissors. I think these are like a part of a manicure kit that I had or something. But I like these because they have a curve in the blades. So if I'm going around something rounded, this makes it a lot easier for me to cut it. Or I'll use a XOXO knife on the silicone mat and cut around the shape that I want. And then to get it up off the silicone mat, I'll use a knife, like a palette knife, a long skinny one, and just go underneath the paint. I also have an interference violet one. Let me see if I can get that up with the palette knife. It's been pulled up, but it's hard to work with these. This one is the interference violet one. So it looks white when it dried. I thought it would be more like transparent and just have like a violet tint in some places, but so I'm going to figure out where I want to put these spirals. And then in the fish, I think I like this. I have another fish right here that's interference violet and turquoise and purple that I'll cut the shape out with the X-Acto knife, but I think I like where everything is at on this. So now I can start attaching it to the canvas. So to do that, I used some gloss gel medium by LIQUITEX and a little bit of distilled water. I just mixed them together in a cup. I'm going to take a paintbrush, and wherever I want to put the stencil, I'm going to paint a little bit of this gloss varnish down onto the canvas. So we'll start with this one down here. So this is where I want it. I hope this is easy to do. The last time I did this, it was kind of tricky because these skins are so thin. Uh-oh. Okay, so once it's on there, I'll use tweezers to move it around where I want it, because it'll start sticking pretty quickly. You have a few minutes to do this, so not too big a rush. You just press it down. Trying to be delicate, but it's not always easy. You can take the back of a palette knife or something smooth, go over it where it looks kind of bumpy. Make sure it's where you want it. That looks okay to me. And then you're going to go over it one more time with your, really delicately, with your gloss gel. And this will just make sure it stays in place. And it also kind of adheres it to the other paint. Just makes it look like it was always there. Cat Oscar was wanting out with my fiance. He's a daddy's boy. Okay. Just want to get that smoothed out in like a thin layer. Don't leave a thick layer on because it'll just make it, the skin come up off the canvas. So you want to make sure it's brushed down as smooth as you can get it. You can use your brush to get out any air bubbles. Just kind of push them to the edge with your brush. Okay, that looks good. So now we'll do this one, the fish skin, and then I'll come back and do, because I want to show you how to do it when it goes over the edge. So, okay, this is where we want our skin right here. This one should be a little bit easier to do also because it's a big piece and it's easier to move. It's not a ribbon of paint. So the same thing, just going to paint on some of your gloss gel. You want to get the layer as even as possible, so that your paint skin doesn't bubble up in places. Okay, that should be good. Maybe a little more for his nose. Okay. So you can take your paint skin, decide where you want it, lay it down. I think right there, I like that pink and purple between his tail. I have a little tear in there, but can squeeze it together and you won't see it. You're just going to smooth it on there as evenly as you can, trying not to rip it because it's still really, really delicate. And then do the same thing that we did with the spiral. Just go over it with your gloss gel medium and water. Going over the top of the skin, like I said, just, I don't know, it makes it adhere to the canvas. It looks like it was always there. I want to knock these spirals off that I have in place. I'm trying to get the edge with the Gloss Varnish. Making sure there's no air underneath it. And like I said, if there is, you just push it out to the side with your paintbrush. If you have a squeegee, I guess you could use that. I'm just afraid that, I do have squeegees, I'm just afraid that it would rip my paint and I don't want that to happen. And this works pretty well. Just pushing it out with your paintbrush. Okay, so there's that one. I'm going to work on this spiral right here. Try to hold it together in my hand. Oh, I'm going to show you guys another thing that I'm making for my booth. Another little brand kind of thing. Dizzy Fish. This is a fish that I poured some paint on. I found this at the Dollar Tree also. For $1.25. I took some black paint, some pearlized vermilion, pearlized violet, turquoise, and silver. And I used black cell activator and black for my base and just blew out with my mouth. And this is what it turned out like. Once I varnish it, I'll put a picture up. I have a couple others that I did of that. Okay, so this spiral is going to be off the corner. I do have another purple spiral, but I'm not sure I want to use it. Have not decided yet. I do have some more artwork to do on the fish, and it's not completely dry yet, so I'm not messing with it too much. Let me turn this around so I can work on this corner. See if I can pick it up intact. Okay. Oh. Okay, which side do I want? So this one's going to go over the edge a little bit. Bit of varnish on the corners. This isn't varnish, I'm sorry. This is gloss gel medium. Okay. So this little corner I'm just going to pinch a little bit between my fingers and this paintbrush to kind of make it stick a little better. There we go. So, alright, that's it. We put on 1, 2, 3 spirals and a fish. And then this fish I'm going to be painting over with some black. And I'll use the same black that I used to paint it, which was Master's Touch, because I had so much of that left over. I decided to use that for my signage. So once this fish is completely dry, I'll come in and outline him in black, and then I will go over that with silver. So he'll be outlined in silver, and this one will be probably outlined in turquoise or violet or vermilion, I'm not sure. One of those. Okay. All right, well, thank you for joining me. That was fun and easy and really quick, and a good way to use extra paint if you have any. You can just pour it out on a silicone mat, let it dry, it makes a skin, and then you can use it for lots of different things. You can put it on a canvas that you've already painted. You can put it on some postage if you want to, like thank you notes or something like that. You can use it to make jewelry. You can use them for all kinds of things, so I love skins. So here's an example of some of the skins that I'm going to use to make magnets with. And this is just a silicone mat on a piece of glass. And I took, let me see, let me move this real quick so I can show you. So this is just a silicone, like a thin silicone mat. This paint is stuck to it and it'll peel up. These were already on this silicone mat, so that's why they're already loose, but you can take this whole thing off. The paint stays with it, except for the one that wasn't already poured on it. I just poured that paint on there and swiped over it. This is just a piece of glass from a picture frame that I took and used masking tape to mask off the back to make it more stable, so that if it did crack, it wouldn't break and shatter into a million pieces and cut me. So that's what that is. It's just a piece of glass with masking tape. And then the silicone sticks to the glass really, really well. It makes super flat surface and your paint stays flat and it dries exactly the way you want it to. So this is what I use to make skins. Here's another one that I have. This is just a really big piece and it's not, it's loose. See, it's just a skin, super thin. Like a thick piece of plastic, but way more fragile. So what I'll do with this one is I'm going to make magnets out of it. So that's why there's a bunch of smaller circles. I'm trying to make a certain size magnets, but then I also have a bunch of lacing and things like this. These are all metallics and interference colors. So when I put the glass on top of it, it'll magnify all the colors and make them pop, and they're just really pretty as magnets. So, okay, that's my paint skin video. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you learned something, and I hope you go and pour some paint skins and use them on something. That would be awesome if you left pictures of what you make with your paint skins in my comments. I would love to see that. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that already, and like and share my video, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.